Chuck Schuldiner from Death, and look, Andy from King Diamond. This is a bit of a coincidence. I mean, you're from Sweden. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm actually recording a bit with the guys.
Which guys?
Death guys.
You are, huh? What project is this going to be?
It's still going to be Death, you know, Chuck's band, you know. But
So you're just like joining in.
yeah, actually, I was asked to do a couple of solos on it, you know. So.
Great. Well, Chuck, I have to tell you that for all your reputation as being like the death metal guru, you're far too nice and too pleasant.
I wore my kitty shirt just to crush any misconceptions of death metalers being cruel to animals or anything. I'm an animal lover, and yeah, you know, the people will probably be surprised if they met a lot of bands, you know, especially in this type of music, because everyone seems extreme and, you know, they put on this image, but you know, I'm definitely whatever, trying to break that.
Yeah.
You know, we're people too.
What does the scene still do for you? What does the music still do for you? And where are you taking it, like with the new recording, for example?
Well, I like to think that we're taking it to a new level each record. I want to stay musical and put in my influences, which have to do with a lot of melodic bands. Anything from, you know, Merciful Fate, King Diamond, to, you know, a lot of bands, Watchtower, you know, Queensryche, a lot of old heavier stuff like Possessed. You know, I mean, I'm trying to incorporate all my personal tastes, influences and stuff, you know, and let them come out. I'm not into holding back, trying to live up to a certain reputation of being the heaviest. You know, I'm not out for that. You know, I'm into a lot of different types of music, you know.
What about what's happening with Merciful Fate?
Merciful Fate is recording in Dallas right now with the original lineup except for the drummer. I don't know the guy's name, but they have been in the studio for like 2 weeks, I think, and they'll be done in about 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't really know what's going to happen with it, but what I know is that this album is going to be released, and as soon as it's released, we're going to continue to start working on the King Diamond thing.
So it's just in the back burner for now?
Well, you never know, you know, but all the music for King Diamond is already done, it's written everything, and we'll probably go into the studio like this summer.
What's the name of the album going to be?
Spider's Lullaby.
Spider's Lullaby.
Yeah.
And is it going to go in any new direction, or what do you think? Is this little, you know, hiatus here at Morrisound influenced you in any way?
A bit maybe, yeah. But since the songs are already done and all that, you know, I don't think we're going to change that for the next album. So it will be basically the same like King Diamond style. But of course, better songs.
Let me touch you, let me feel.
Chuck, a lot of people credit you with starting the death metal scene, the death metal genre. What do you think when they say that?
Well, it's definitely flattering, but I really can't consider myself to have started it. I think bands like Venom, in my opinion, Venom were the first to have the brutal vocal style, you know, tuning low, their instruments, that initial really brutal aggression. But I think maybe I've kept it going, you know, to what death metal is today, as far as, you know, a lot of those old bands are no longer going like Venom. And I guess I picked up where they left off, and, you know, I'm still in there, luckily.
But you having, when you then got a band named Death,
Right.
then that sort of coined the term. That's probably another reason why. It's not just what you were doing, but the fact that you called it something.
Right, it's a pretty brutal name, definitely. At the time, I wanted something, you know, extreme, something brutal, shocking, to go along with the music, you know, and now I would probably call it something different, but it's kind of stuck with us, and, you know, it's just a name, and I hope people really don't get a wrong impression that we're, like, anti-life, because, you know.
They do, though. People do get that impression all the time, like not just parents, but other people that listen to heavy metal that won't listen to death metal.
Right.
They just think, oh, what's that stuff?
Yeah, it's a drag. Hopefully they'll read the lyrics and realize I'm saying something that maybe they can relate to, or something, you know. I have a lot of songs that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Well, you've said that you don't want to be lumped in with the other sort of death metal bands. Why is that?
I just, I'm not going to name anyone, but I think in all types of music, you know, when something gets real big, it tends to get out of control. I think some bands are out of control with what they're doing. They just don't realize what they're doing. You know, a lot of things are hurting this music. It's giving people an excuse to kind of say, wait, this is a bit extreme. You know, we need to do something. You know, I'm tired of that, you know, the negative vibe, you know.
It's funny having both of you here because you're both representing two places where death metal is really, really popular, and of course it makes sense why you're here together. But do you ever think why? Like, why Florida? Why Tampa? Why Sweden?
This is probably the heavy metal capital of the United States now, I would say.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's bizarre. I cannot back that up with a proper answer. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's the oranges, or I don't know, the mosquitoes or something. I don't know.
Maybe the heavy metalers aren't that heavy after all. I mean, they're coming down here for the sunshine, I guess.
That's right. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe they played in Sweden to keep warm.
Well, that's what we're thinking. Okay, cold countries, Canada, Sweden, you know, same type of climate. It's like you hang out a lot indoors. You hang out in your basement a lot. You know, people play a lot of guitar. But Florida, why aren't you on the beach?
I don't know. I wish we were. Definitely.
Okay, so when you're producing here, what happens? What goes on? Not so much with the technical buttons here that we were discussing before, but what goes on with the band? They play in there, you sit in here, and what do you do? What do you tell them to do?
I change everything, especially bass players. No.
Lots of bass players present here. Hey, there goes one. See ya.
No. What do we do? Usually at the studio out there, it's the amplifiers, or if they're singing, the vocals for isolation. And what do we do? I don't, you know, we just try and capture good performances on tape and let them play their music.
Usually with a band like, say, Death, how many takes of each song will you do before you get the right mix that you need?
I don't know. It just depends on how well the band's playing and what's going on. I mean, sometimes it can be in one take. Other times it might be 250 takes. Just depends till you get the right take.
Do you put your image of what the band should sound like on the albums a lot? Like, do you have a lot of fights? Do things happen like that?
Oh, everyone has fights, but we're all metal brothers united, and we come through at the end. But no, I'm serious. I mean, you know, we have disagreements, and we try and come through and, you know, and get the best thing. But, I mean, Chuck definitely has his idea and the band members, and I don't try and change that. I just try and add things that may complement it and all. And like I said, you know, I mean, it's not my album, it's theirs. But I just try and give good input, and when they tell me to shut up, I shut up.
Well, this Metal Brothers United, that's something very dear to your heart.
Because we are Metallic Brothers United, and that's why it's not just death metal. See, look at this, right here. This sums it all up. This is part of the Metallic universe.
Well, what is it? Tell me.
This is the metallic grapefruit from the abysmal fires of hell, grown from my tree in sunny Florida. And these are people that we worship. King Diamond, one of the greatest metalers around. Lemmy, Rob Halford, Gene Simmons, Tom Warrior.
And?
I don't know who these guys are, but they look funny. So anyway, so that's why we're Metal Brothers United for Metal.
Well, that's recording at Morrisound.
And to show how metal we are, Chuck is on the orb. The whole universe spins around Chuck from Death.